Very good afternoon, everybody out over there, and I am very, very happy to have you all today. And before we start today's session, I would just like to introduce our today's about today's webinar. So today's webinars, that is Wednesday's Wisdom and Saturday's series, is all about ensuring that the teachers and the educators out over there are equipped with what is required in their daily, everyday classroom scenarios. So this is our endeavor to ensure that you are well equipped. Uh, in case during the course of webinar, if you have any questions, kindly put them in the question and answer box which is being provided in the with you. If you have any feedback to give or any problem that you're facing, you can put it in the chat box. One of us from the team Shaw Learning will definitely get back to you and try to help you resolve the session. Please do not leave the session till the end of it, because at the end of the session there is going to be a test. So please ensure that you are doing you are giving that test, and while you are giving the test, you are entering the right email IDs, because otherwise there will be a problem in releasing your certificates, and sometimes you don't get. Now, without wasting any time, I would just like to start by welcoming and introducing you to our today's guest, and it is none other than our very own Madhuri Sagale ma'am. Now, why I say our very own Madhuri Sagale ma'am, because I know her from past 5 to 6 years. Madhuri ma'am, welcome to Wednesday's Wisdom and Saturday Skills series. And I would like to tell something about Madhuri ma'am, and it is a great privilege to tell about her, because the kind of passion she carries is totally unique. She is so fond of her children. So she has been basically a doctor by profession. She has done her uh, homeopathic, and then after that she chose that okay, she needs to learn more about children. So she did her psychology, and then she did her B.Ed, and then during the course of time she was also teaching, not only in India but also in Dubai. She had been associated with gem schools there, where she was teaching. And after gaining so much of knowledge from all over, she is being now a principal for Orchids International School, Thane, from past 6 years. And in her leadership, I must say the school has grown from 350 students or to somewhere around 1500 to 1600 students at present. So that's a big kiddos to ma'am. And it is because of her vision that she carries for each of her students, where she wants the children to be independent. Every bacha of a school needs to learn to be independent and to know more. So let's explore with Madhuri ma'am today what is gradual release of responsibility, how the teachers can execute in the class. Ma'am, it's a pleasure to have you once again on this platform. Thank you for being there.
Thank you, Shilpi. Thank you very much. As I said last time also that I expect this beautiful lines of appreciation and introduction from you. And it really makes me feel so good because the venture, the joint venture which we had 2 3 years back and handling Thane School. So I still remember those wonderful memories. So thank you for being there always. Second, thank you very much for giving me this platform to share what good things a teacher can do, because nowadays education is not simple only giving knowledge, but it is more into exploring, getting into research, and then developing that particular knowledge, where it needs a formula for a teacher where she can make all her learners to be an independent. So I think that's what I felt, why not go with the topic of independent learners. So but before starting my topic, I would want to appreciate all the teachers who are present here, because I think all these teachers who are here today are online educators. We should call them online educators. Reason, and it was not that very easy task for them to become an online educators, because upgrading ourselves for technology, knowing ourselves, getting acquainted with the technology. Hats off to all the teachers who have managed to look after the household work as well as upgrading the knowledge and delivering best. So hats off to everyone who are present over here. It is coming from my heart because I do know my teachers. I do know how they are working. So it's very, as a principal and as a woman also, it is very difficult to handle your professional life in this pandemic. So that's why this is coming up, and I'm saying that it's a wonderful job and a great task you all are doing. So thank you, and let us now move. For that, I would like to share my screen, Shilpi. I'll take a second. Yeah.
Yeah, we have given you the rights, ma'am.
Sorry.
You can please share, ma'am.
Yeah.
Rights have been given. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just share my screen. Just a minute. It's taking a bit time.
No issues, ma'am. Yeah.
Is my screen seen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let us start. And as usual, Shilpi, if I'm going slow, please keep me informing in between, because
Yes, yes.
time management, as teachers and as leaders, we all need to understand and value that. So please keep me updating about that. Okay. Because as a teacher, bad habit of talking too much. So we need to restrict ourselves in terms of giving knowledge also. Okay. Thank you very much. So let us start with our topic of gradual release of responsibility creates independent learners. So the reason, as I said, it is very, very important. Today's online educators or today's educators need to make their learners independent. First of all, to know what is independent learners, let us try to explore few things from a teacher's perspective by seeing few videos, by listening to few people, so that we understand our roles and responsibilities. So the question that comes to our mind when we say, as an educationist, what is the outcome that you are looking for in your child, or as a teacher when you are giving it to your child? What is your expectation from the student? So for that, I wanted to take views from you all, but as we know, it's a webinar. It will take too much of time if I ask each one of you. So I just took one video from my teacher to understand and her perspective in terms of these questions.
I think, ma'am, there's an issue with the video. I will play the video.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Should I stop sharing?
Yes, ma'am.
So till then, Shilpi is sharing.
Yes.
It is an English. Vidya is an English teacher, and those questions were asked to her to understand as a teacher what she feels and how she would want to make a difference in a child's life.
Yes. So here it goes.
Yeah.
One
Sorry,
itself.
No problem.
There always remains one
Is it being
question
seen now?
as to
No, it's only audio, I think.
for their better
Yeah.
future. I remember
I'll
when
start
I used
again.
to be
Yes.
So that, yeah.
Hi, I'm Vidya and I'm an English teacher, and I'm here to share my journey from being a student to a teacher. Being a
Teachers, it
teacher,
is request if you can use the headphones so it becomes easy for you to listen if the volume is low.
I will share it again, ma'am, because I think there's some
next,
issue with
what
the.
else can we give to our students for their better future? I remember
From my PPT, the video was not clear.
There was again a lag, ma'am, that was happening. I don't know why, but
Vidya
today what
and I'm an
happened?
English teacher, and I'm here to share.
The video fine.
Hi, I'm Vidya and I'm an English teacher, and I'm here to share my journey from being a student to a teacher. Being a teacher, it has been a fruitful experience and a satisfying one by itself, but there always remains one question as to what next? What else can we give to our students for their better future? I remember when I used to be a student, uh, I have seen how my teachers have delivered their lectures, how they prep up. But I used to always wonder, how are they even doing this? What are the things that's running behind their mind? And that thing has always kept me wondering all this while when I am a teacher by myself. So, the difference in their teaching methodology between the teachers of my school and my college professors. There's a vast difference, and it's clearly seen. There's no second thought about it. So over the period of time, I have realized that being a teacher, it's not just for your own satisfaction, but basically you are striving to make the students' future a better place. We should be adding value to their future, and that's where we need to work. So I have realized that I have become more of a facilitator from being a teacher, and helping them grow their confidence, their freedom of speech, their freedom of thought, and making them an independent learner. And that is something that I feel that every teacher should strive for. And definitely, this by doing so, I feel that this particular profession is more of an accomplishment for me now. Hi, I'm Vidya, and I'm an English.
Yeah. Thank you, Shilpi. Is my screen seen?
Not yet, ma'am. Yeah, yes, it
Okay.
is.
Okay. It's seen, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let us go and understand. As the teacher, English teacher, she said that I am a facilitator now. So most of the teachers are facilitator because if I say that the education right from ancient education, that is Gurukul learning to Google learning, there's a lot of changes happened in this due course, where the teachers have become facilitators. Now it's Gurukul learning, which was already there, the ancient learning, I would say. All these pointers which are seen on the screen, that a learner need to be an attentive, inquisitive, global citizen, active participant, independent learner, disciplined and self motivated. So this is a part of our Indian learning and ancient learning, which is still now prevailing, and it has been followed by other countries also in a different format. But we as Indians, we all need to understand and bring in that practice again. Rather than getting influenced by someone else, I think our Indian practice of learning and teaching is so very innovative that we try to look somewhere else. We try to hunt things, but we have things in place. We just need to explore those. So independent learner was right from ancient learning. It is not something new I'm talking about. So here again, a teacher who's talking about facilitator is again an ancient. It is not something new. So we all need to get back, bring that old technique and methodology, and see to it that our learners are inquisitive learner. They need to have inquiry based learning. That is asking questions like why, when, where, how. These kind of techniques a child should come up, never should feel scared to ask in the class. Then the global citizen, the duties and responsibilities towards a particular what do you say, a school or a society. I think attentive, active participant, self motivated, these are the few factors again which I will add. But the biggest thing which has been pointed by a teacher here on the screen is independent learner, which is a combination of all these things. things, and it is said to be 360-degree learner or a learning method, which in most of the schools nowadays you do find. It's not that. In fact, Indian methodology of teaching is really, and Indian education is far better, I would say, because it's in detail, it's in depth. But are we taking our students in this? As a teacher, am I looking at this aspect, that is independent learner? So let us further explore more. Yeah. Then we go ahead and understand what is meant by independent learning. Now, the ability to take the charge of one's learning. The child should take the charge of his own learning, to be responsible, to be accountable, self regulated, self motivated. Are we creating what you, or are we creating a field for our students in such a way as a teacher that the child becomes an independent learner? Those points which I said. So this is what we are going to explore stepwise, so that we know what as a teacher I need to do to make my child independent learner. So how do you promote? This is next question which is from my side. How do you promote independent learning in the classroom? But before that, why is it important for students to be an independent learner? So the most important thing, if I go here, I'll just take the pointer: fostered social inclusion and countered alienation from peers. That, now this is the most important thing. Social connect, that is understanding people around. When you are working in team, when you're working in group, do I respect each other's views? Do I understand what the other child is saying? Do I implement those things? So collaborative learning is something which is very important, mentioned over here in this point. Then increase opportunities for completing differentiated tasks set by the teacher. Now when we say independent learner, the responsibility or the accountability of the learner to take the task and complete at the given time. So that means submission, initiative of completing the task given by the teacher, to make the child self regulated, self motivated, responsible. And other things, as a teacher, we already know, we want the academics to improve, we want him to motivate, we want the motivation and confidence in the child. And last but not the least, the most important thing when we talk about independent learner is the freedom given for the child, or to the child, to be more creative and intellectual curiosity. That is inquiry based learning. The child should come up with the questions like why, when, where, how, and try to explore in his own way. And that's the journey of a creative learner or a independent learner. So these are the important points as a teacher we should remember. Next. Now the question again, most of the things slides I keep on asking questions: how do we make students independent learner? So very simple, we have to have a framework, we need to know steps, we need to have components. So if you have a framework, if you have steps to follow, I think your journey goes very systematically. You know what is first step, followed by second, third, fourth, and that's how you know that, oh, I am going to make a difference in the child's life by making him an independent learner. Next, what is the role of a teacher? Me as a teacher, what do I need to know? So here, as I said, as a teacher, rather than being just an imparter of knowledge, what you need to do is you need to be a facilitator of learning. You need to facilitate the learning. Then now what is this? So it is a gradual release of a teacher from me to my child, from me to my bacha. And that journey of gradually releasing and getting weaned off in typical rote learning or teaching, black chalk and board teaching kind of thing, we need to start with techniques and methodology where child gets involved and connected and becomes more creative. So this is the gradual release, and those gradual release in today's session we are going to divide into 4 components. Now what are these 4 components? That is demonstration, shared demonstration, guided practice, and independent practice. But let us rename this in a different way so that it becomes easy for us to understand or remember. So what are these 4 things? So here comes those 4. That is, I said demonstration, shared demonstration, guided practice, and independent, right? So it's I do, we do, you do it together, and you do it. So these are the 4 components or 4 steps for a teacher to remember. Next, now, this is the beautiful framework which I really liked and I got impressed by this framework. Is again, I said this is ancient, it's nothing new, but people follow. Outside India also people follow, and they come up and they add something and they come up with the framework. So let me tell you, this is a very ancient framework which we all need to understand and explore and add little more tadka to make it innovative. So this is GRR, that is gradual release of responsibility instructional framework. In this slide, you can see two triangles. One is inverted triangle, that is teacher's responsibility, and the other one is a normal triangle where the student's responsibility. Now, when I say teacher's responsibility, inverted triangle, let us focus over there. So the base of the triangle, inverted triangle base, you can find focus lesson, and just you go to the right hand side, you see I do it. That means as a teacher, my focus of my lesson, what objective I have planned, and in that objective I need to add my role as a doer, my role as a demonstrator. Your lesson cannot be just going and reading out or writing on the board. Your lesson includes demonstrating certain activities by you as a teacher also. So that is the first step in terms of GRR framework. So focus where the teacher demonstrates. If you look at the students triangle, over there it is just the apex where the initiation of getting involved in the teacher activity by observing it and noting it down in the form of running notes or in the form of keywords, where the child is just writing. You are training the child to watch, be keen observer, and note down the points. Now let us go to the second aspect, that is second component is guided practice or guided instruction. Now if you look at the right hand side, it is we do it. Okay, so in this particular step, a teacher, when she completes her demonstration, gradually she needs to involve students in her activity, where once she starts involving, student gets connected with the teacher's activity, so that the child gets connected with the topic, and then the activity between a teacher and a student, that is the second component, that is guided instruction. We do it, that is me and my kids, my students. Then let us go to the third step, that is collaborative. Now in teachers triangle, if you see, there is nothing mentioned, but in students triangle it is mentioned as collaborative learning, and you do it together. So as a teacher, I will wean off my from the group, and I will make my bachas to study or do an activity in group of 4, 2, 5, 7, depending upon the class strength, and give guidance how the collaborative learning takes place. Very, very important. Collaborative learning doesn't mean I give an activity, let them do what they want to do it, and after that they are just going to show me a chart paper. No, there are certain guidelines, there are certain instructions, there are certain what do you say, norms the child need to follow, so that he learns what is collaborative learning. That is respecting others, decision making, creative thinking, then problem solving. So those 21st century skills the child needs to use here in collaborative learning. Now the last one, if you see the last one, now for the last one is a teacher's triangle, which is apex, nothing is there. Okay, and where you see at students triangle, you find the base is very big, and now they are independent learner. That means you as a teacher, after your learning your chapter or whatever unit you have introduced, have you conducted any activity for CFU, that is check for understanding, and is the child doing it on his own, and are you able to gauge his understanding through an assessment, through a worksheet, through an activity? So this is independent learning, where the child will gather all the information of first step, second step, third step, and implement his knowledge and put it in the whatever activity is been given to him. So this is you do it. So overall, these two triangles, please do remember when you're making your lesson plan. Very, very important. So I hope you people understood these two triangles. Next we go to the now Steps I have already mentioned while explaining GRR framework, but yes, here it is given as first step. I do it. Now you all know what is I do it. As a teacher, I need to demonstrate an activity first myself, because my child is going to look at me, observe me, watch me doing what I am doing and noting down important points. Second is we do it, gradually involving few students in the activity to connect with the topic. Then we go with third and fourth step. Now, when we say third step, it is you do it together. As I said, it is collaborative learning. In group learning, the child needs to do an activity and understand the objective of collaborative learning. Then comes the last step, that is fourth step. You do it. That is activity, which I have already said. It can be anything, a worksheet, it can be an assessment, it can be a small activity which the child alone has to do it. Now let us explore through more videos and understand. But before that, I have worked on this frame. I have reframed this structure by adding two more components to make it a complete framework. Okay. Now what are these two more components? As you can see on the screen, red color or maroon color in the start and in the end. Okay. And black, which shows that is I do, you do, we do together. What is all those four steps which are mentioned? So the first one is build the field. Build the field means before starting the GRR framework, what kind of prerequisites you need to do as a teacher for your bachas, so that they start their independent learning journey before your child joins the class. So that is called as build the field. And what is in the last mention? Review. Generally in education field, when we say cognitive skills or comprehension, we say CFU, check for understanding. So these are certain kind of assessments or tools which we need to frame or do it for our students to gauge their knowledge. So I hope this reframing structure is understood. Four components in center, first and the last one. First is build the field and the last one is review.
So, Mr. Fisher and Miss Nancy gave this in 2007, and now Madhuri ma'am has reframed it with adding a tarka of and, and review to it. Excellent.
So I thought little bit of more, we need to I think we need to reframe things. We need to bring
Yes,
change,
actually, yeah, the framework will be there. Then what suits you, you need to improvise it.
and
That's very
and
important.
improvisation is the first step towards growth. If you improvise, that means you are growing, you are doing a research. I think that's what I thought. If we add, because nowadays all the teachers are very smart, just they need to be guided well, and everybody starts doing it. I think further you will find reframe coming up by someone else in coming years, so you never know how the reframe gets rechanged again. So build the field is something which I added new in the framework. Was It's very very important. When I was also teaching long back, when I was a teacher, this thing used to come to my mind through that what my students know and what I will be teaching them. That is from known to unknown. The journey is very, very important. So, when you're planning something now, when we are doing this GRR framework, in this particular build the field, there are two important points you people need to remember. One is pre-reading material, which is of the class, not in the class. That is coming before coming to the class. The child needs to have pre-reading material. Now this pre-reading material, I have said, it is a jump start for the lesson. That's like the child knows that is from known to unknown, and when he comes in the class, the child is pretty aware what is going to be there in my particular lesson or a chapter by this teacher. Okay. Next, a teacher needs to do now activity when she starts or when she initiates the class. So when bachas are coming in the class, there should be a set rule for by the teacher that, look, you have done a pre-reading material which was given as a homework. Now I need to check your knowledge whether you have done that work, and you are prepared for this new journey. So gauging that knowledge is also very important for a teacher, rather than, because let me share my experience, there are few teachers who will sincerely do this kind of work, but there are few teachers who will just give pre-reading material for the namesake, because no, let them read and come so they know, and my journey will be very easy, I need not go in detail. No, this assumption is very wrong. It's very important. Pre-reading material, you as a teacher need to understand why it is important. If you understand the importance of pre-reading material, the journey of independent learner becomes very simpler and very easy. Now let us explore these two activities further. So pre-reading material, we can have a separate session on pre-reading material. In fact, Shilpi, you can tell some other guests to speak on this, because it's a wonderful topic. We can spend one lecture on this particular thing. So
We will again bother you, ma'am. Don't worry. Why we need another
I
speaker?
would love to, I would love to come up with this particular topic again. So,
Yeah.
but now for this session, I'll just take, I'll just touch superficially, because we need to stick to the timing. So, pre-reading material right from lower grades, I would say it is very important to train the students what is pre-reading material, why you are giving pre-reading material, how to use pre-reading material. So what happens, so this journey of, this using this material, that is, why reading, what to read, and how to read is also a learning for the child, is also important from teacher's perspective, how she tells the students to do the pre-reading material. So it's more like a homework. That's the reason I said it is a jump start of the lesson of that particular period. Next, now reading systematically, again, specifically I'll tell you, this I told you for lower grades. Now when you go in higher grades, our bachas sometimes take it very casually, pre-reading material. They might do it for the namesake. Even kids do it for the namesake. Oh, my teacher has said, I'll just take a glance and that's it. But yes, understanding their mentality, you need to give techniques to the students. Okay, fine, don't spend much time in pre-reading material, but if you spend less time, but you will get more knowledge. But what is that technique you need to know? So you need to tell your child or your bachas that SQ3R method is the simplest and the best method for higher grade students. That is, you do a survey, that is, do scanning of your pre-reading material, then ask question on the all important topics of that pre-reading, headings and bullets and bold things which are there. Then read those questions and find out answers for those questions. Recall, recollect whatever you have done in that pre-reading material, and review, add value to it, so that you can conclude your pre-reading material. So it's a detailed thing. I have just mentioned the mnemonics to remember. SQR, SQ3R method. Okay. Next, now as I said, pre-reading was the first what do you say, activities. Then the second thing which teacher needs to do is do now. Now when the child or the kids are entering in the class, whether it is a physical class or whether it is an online class, very simple. If you put in your online class, put a white screen over there and ask couple of questions pertaining to pre-reading material, one, and which you are going to introduce, and how do they connect the pre-reading material knowledge, and which you are going to start. So a bridge between the pre-reading material and what you are going to introduce, maybe in the form of activity, maybe in the form of jigsaw, I mean in the puzzle, maybe in the form of MCQ, anything. That is completely teacher's call, and how creative she can be in terms of asking those couple of questions. So now what is the advantage of this? Advantage, yes, there's always a connect between what you are going to learn and what was your previous knowledge. That is from unknown, I mean from known to unknown. But there are few pointers which I have mentioned here in terms of system routine formation. So students will have a clear understanding of what is expected from them when they first walk into the classroom. That is the classroom discipline and the objective and the expectations. Students have a consistent routine and already know the expectations of the class. Very, very important. A good teacher will always have, her students will know what is the expectation of Dr. Madhuri's class. When I enter in her class, she will not entertain students, or she will not entertain me like this. I need to be prepared for it, but she's my favorite teacher too. I cannot afford to lose her, period. This is my impact which I need to keep on my students. So that expectation is also very important. Students are more comfortable when there is a routine that is being followed, because they already know what to expect. Routine is very, very important, and it is you as a teacher who's going to set in. If you are not disciplined, you don't expect discipline from your students. If you don't know step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, from step 1 you go to step 4, how do you expect your kids to follow that? So, my dear friends and my dear teachers, please follow stepwise. Please be disciplined at your level. Do now is something for you. If you do that, your bachas will always do that. So, don't forget, do now is a very important step in build the field. Is it audible, and is it going proper?
Not,
Do let me know.
yeah. No, ma'am, it is
Is
not
it
heard. No,
okay? So can I will
I
stop
will.
sharing. I will
I will do.
stop sharing. Yeah, just a minute. Yeah, it is not audible. That's the reason Shilpi is helping me in showing the video
Yeah,
directly
just a
through
second.
YouTube. But she's just going through that. We need to understand, as I said, the GRR frame, which I showed you, the two triangles. There were four components we did, right? I do it, we do it, you do it, you all do it together, and you do it. But these four components, we reframed it, right? By adding two more things in that. So instead of four, it became six, right? And in that six, we need to remember two colors. Okay. The first and the last is maroon, and in the center, it is black. So black states four components, four steps. And the first and the last one is maroon color. The first one says build the field, and the last one says review. Yeah. So you
Should we
can,
play?
yeah, full screen if you can play,
I
that
will do
would be
it,
good.
ma'am.
Yeah, yeah. So let us understand through
It
this
more
geometry
specifically
class.
solid figures. So let's go over our geometry words and the names of the shapes. Ready? Rectangular prism. Your turn.
Rectangular prism.
Pyramid. We can describe these shapes by looking at their specific attributes. The number of faces. Your turn. Vertices. And edges. Excellent. You are going to identify solid figures according to the number and shape of its faces, edges, and vertices. Remember on Friday when we solved a geometry riddle together? Well, today in your numbered head strategies in your group, you're going to be solving more riddles. You are going to describe the solid figures by solving the riddle and justifying or proving your answer. Let's take a look at our sample riddle, and I'm going to show you how I would go about solving this riddle. So let's take a look at the first clue. I have 6 faces. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is use process of elimination. That means that I'm going to figure out which shapes do not fit the clue, and that's going to help me narrow it down. So I have 6 faces. Well, let's see. I know that it can't be the sphere because a sphere has 0 faces. Now I'm left here with the cube, the rectangular prism, and the pyramid. So I'm not quite sure how many faces a pyramid has, so I'm going to count the faces. 1, 2, 5. Well,
I am
the
just
pyramid
stop
has...
sharing it. There are some issues with the video.
Yeah, they are saying that it is not clear. Maybe it's the lag again. Maybe that is the issue.
For
That is
you also, ma'am, Madhuri
no,
ma'am?
no, no, no. For me, I can see that.
Yeah,
I
I
can,
think that
yeah,
yeah, then it is a network issue for
yes,
them.
yes, yes.
Yes. Then we can continue.
We
Yeah.
can continue. Yeah.
Yeah.
Teachers, just try to understand the activity and I will discuss that. Just try to
Yeah.
understand. Then we will talk about it.
Yeah. Also, I too am in love with this teacher's class. The
Yes.
way it is
Same here.
organized and the way she is structured, it's truly incredible. Okay, let's watch this further.
Yeah.
The cube and the rectangular prism. So I know that a cube has 6 faces, but I'm going to count the faces just to double check. Why don't you count quietly along with me? Ready? 1, 2. I have 8 vertices. Well, I know now that vertices are the corners, so I'm going to count. 1, 2. Let's try the rectangular prism. I'm going to count the rectangular prism just to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hey, they both have 6 faces. They both have 8 vertices. Now I'm going to look at the last clue. All of my faces are square. Okay, so now I know that. It can't be the rectangular prism because it has rectangular faces. And if I look at the cube, all of its faces are square. So it has to be the cube. When I'm sharing out with my friend, I'm going to use our geometry words. The solid figure is a cube because it has 6 faces, it has 8 vertices, and all of its faces are square. Now remember, we're going to use a complete sentence, and we're going to use our special geometry word. The solid figure is, fill it in, because, so you're going to justify or prove your answer to your neighbors. And remember, this is an opportunity for us to learn from each other. So if you're unsure, that's okay. Make a smart guess. And tell your neighbors, I'm not sure. I think it is. And think about what you know about shapes and just make a smart guess. And number 3, if you notice that someone in your group doesn't quite understand what to do, help them. This is an opportunity to learn from each other. And tell them, I think you should say this because, and don't forget to justify your answer using our geometry words. Number of faces, number of vertices. Hey, remember, with our numbered heads activity, we all have to come to a consensus. We all have to agree. I won't roll the dice and choose a friend to share out the answer until everyone in your group has their.
Perfect. Yeah.
I was totally, first of all, in love with the way she was giving the instructions.
Yes.
Very well defined. She knew the purpose of her instruction, how she moved from I do to we do. It was
Yes.
awesome.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
you are completely right and a good observer, Shilpi. So you understood the steps. So if I see the features over here mentioned, whatever you said is a part of this particular I do features. So just a minute, I'm getting a little bit. Okay, so features here, the teacher provides the direct instructions. As Shilpi said, I really loved the way she gave instruction. She was very clear and crisp in terms of what is expected in the class after I do activity, right? Then she establishes a goals and purpose also. That also she explained very well in terms of what is the topic and what all things needs to be looked into. Then the model, obviously she did I do activity on what all teaching aid maybe, those things which she had kept it over there. And think aloud. Now think aloud, I would say, in terms of English subjects and all SST subjects, there you can have this think aloud activities also. But yes, as said, that this is a very nice, there were many videos, but I felt this video was excellent in terms of giving instructions, clear cut instructions in I do activity. Yeah. Now let us
Ma'am,
move.
I just wanted to ask
Oh,
you one
sorry.
question right here,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
because we are being showing a video which is not in our Indian context. Many of the teachers, always have this prejudice that how this is an American school, they have less number of students in our CBSE curriculum. How do we follow this? We will not be able to complete our syllabus. Okay, this is one thing that comes to the mind most of the time, and most of them still, I am sure all the teachers out over there as audience will be thinking this in the mind.
See, first thing, Shilpi, to take, as I said, this model I took from this particular structure framework. Though, as I said, this framework is actually Indian, but there was no such, videos where I could take it and explain it. It was ready-made available in this framework, so it was very easy for me to showcase. But if you ask me, I have to rework now this framework. I will work with all my teachers, that is Indian teachers. And let me tell you, it can be far better also. But just because it was available under this topic, that's the reason it has been taken. Second, you said ki it's like number of students are less. But Shilpi, let me tell you, if you look at this class, I have observed her classes. So over there, 25 to 30 students are there in this class. And I have purposely taken videos of 25 to 30 students. I had option to select 10 students video also, but I took 25 to 30 students video so that teacher will connect accordingly with this particular class. So it's not that it's only outside India that the number of students are less. No, let us understand, even they have increased the strength now to 15 to 20 and 20 to 25. Yeah, so these are the two things which I came across. And what did you say, third one?
So there's a lot of prejudice that if with our CBSE curriculum, this is possible only in IB curriculum. We cannot do such things
No,
with the
in fact,
CBSE
let me tell you one
curriculum.
thing.
So
CBSE, if you see the latest new policy which has come, it is completely based on this, what is there. So it is more of inquiry-based learning. It is more of skill-based learning rather than theoretical. Even I would say CBSE has become more progressive curriculum nowadays. It is not the traditional one. Okay, so even CBSE is trying to bring all these things in the NCRT or in the lower grades, so that our students are independent learner, our students get into skill based learning rather than theory learning. So I think the every teacher, each and every teacher should go through the new education policy, that is NEP, that has come now by CBSE, in fact I would say. Yeah. Can we go? Shilpi, you are
yeah,
muted. Yeah.
thank you so much, ma'am, for that
Yeah.
question. So we will
So
keep asking those questions in between so that
please,
we
please,
can
please.
keep a connect with the audience.
Yes, yes, yes. And you are asking me very valid questions, which I'm happy. And these are the common questions which comes from each and every teacher as we connect with teachers regularly. So you are right. Please keep asking. Can you play this second video also? This is we do it thing, a continuation of the same thing. Or should I run it first and check? I'm not able to hear you, Shilpi.
As you say, ma'am.
I'll just run and check if it is going okay.
I think it's a lag again. Ma'am, I will share it, ma'am. There's a lag.
Okay, okay, fine, fine. I'll stop this. Yeah.
We continue from where we
Yes,
stopped.
yes. So now, teachers, my dear friends,
Their thumb
whatever
up.
we have seen,
I
we continue now the same video because it's I do, we do it now. The second part, the second step.
have 8 edges. I have 5 faces. And one of my faces is a square. What am I?
It can't be this. It has to be something else. It has to be like the pyramid.
The sphere has no edges, no vertices, and no faces. So I think it's gonna be the pyramid.
I think so too. Let's count each one of them again. Let's check our answers. Look at one of one. One of my faces is a square. Who's pyramid? It's hard to trick you.
Remember, with our numbered heads together strategy, Each team is assigned a number, and then each individual person will be assigned a number. So this is team 1. Now I'm going to number you off. Ready? Salma.
1, 2,
Remember your number. Hector, what's your number?
2,
Alessandro, what's your number? You all have to come to a consensus. You all have to agree. Put your thumb up, and when I see that everyone has their thumb up, I'll roll the dice, and we'll see who's going to stand up and share out. Let's look at our next riddle. I have 0 edges. I have 0 vertices. Let's look at a clue.
It has to be this one.
Why do you think it has to be that one?
Because
Hold on, let's take turns.
it has
Let's
0 edges and 0 vertices, and it has 2 faces.
Hector, what can you tell us about the face? Can you show us what a face is?
A face is
Would it be this part of the shape, or would it be this part, the corner, or would it be the flat part? Okay, so a face is the flat part of a solid figure.
Okay.
Is everyone in agreement that we all agree that this is a cylinder?
Yes.
That our riddle is a cylinder?
Yes.
Okay, what do you think, Hector? Do you agree? Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay, so tell us with a complete sentence. The solid figure is
The solid figure is
a
cylinder
because
because
it has
it has a 2 faces.
excellent, good job. I'm going to roll your own individual number first. So if I roll a 3, William, all the 3s be prepared to share. And then my next number that I roll, Alessandra, is the table number. So I'm rolling number 2. Make sure every number 2 is in agreement that you know what you're going to share out using your complete sentence. Number 2 from this team, are you ready? Okay, why don't you go over again what you're going to say. Table 2. Hector, number 2, stand up and share out. The solid figure
The solid figure is the circular,
Okay, the cylinder.
the cylinder.
It has
Oh yeah, it has 0
edges,
edges and 0
vertices.
vertices.
Nice job, Hector. Let's give Hector a round of applause. Please come have a seat.
Yeah, done. Thank you. Thank you, Shilpi. I'll share my screen.
For you, one wonderful video. We all can give Madhuri ma'am a clap.
So I really liked Hector. So she was, actually focusing on Hector a lot. And he couldn't spell it. He couldn't say cylinder. He was getting stuck. Okay, so the features over here, I think it's already shown through a gesture. So it was an interactive instructions. She worked with the students well. She checked, gave clues to the student, prompted wherever required, and she was on the table where Hector needed support. So she meets with the needs based group. So group which was needing more attention, she was over there. So further to explore little more, while there are many ways to guide learners through activities, so 3 common ways I have just mentioned here. You can split the learners into pairs to work together, or on drawing visual representation of the information, for example, concepts or mind maps. Second, pose several questions for the learners to discuss. Let the learners decide what questions they want to answer and in which order. Then the third is pair learners so that one learner explains how the task is performed and the other learner listens. They take turns to explain and compare notes to make sure that they have understood all parts of the task. I think most of you must be doing these kind of activities, not all, but one or thing you must be using in your we do activity. So these are such just few suggestions given in terms of how you can have we do it activity in your lesson plan. Next. So you all do it together is here again. It's a collaborative learning. Now, collaborative learning is nothing but it is in terms of group learning. It clarifies confusion. It provides support when you're discussing with your peers. So as per the research, as it is mentioned here, I'll just move few pointers here. I'm just getting a little bit of distraction here. Hmm. Yeah. So development of sorry development of high level thinking, oral communication, self management and leadership skills, promotion of student faculty interaction, that is student teacher interaction, increases student retention, very very important, because the child will remember each and every what you say, the language or the hints what the other child has given. So the child remembers, so the retention of the talks will help to retain the actual concept what the child did with the group of students. And the responsibility also, that respecting each other, giving chance to the other person, and the exposure to an increase in understanding the diverse perspectives. As I said, a group of 2, group of 5, group of 7, it all depends. This is a kind of 21st century skills where you are putting in the collaborative learning, and that's how you are helping the child to be more responsible, more accountable. Next. Just let me know about the timing, Shilpi. I hope I am little slow today, but then if you are okay, we can go with this video. No, you are muted. You are muted.
I think we can just continue, ma'am. I think we have understood the concept here.
So,
Yeah.
so should I take it or we should move to
We
the
can
next?
skip it, ma'am. We can skip
Can
it
skip.
and move.
Okay.
Yeah.
This video was nothing but just a maths teacher of higher grade student, I mean higher grade class, where she says that I have used this model of GRR and how I have introduced collaborative learning because of this GRR framework. So this video was all about a teacher explaining how she's using GRR framework. Okay. So let us move to the next one. Over here also there is a what do you say, in this I have in fact the videos which I am showing, I'm trying to cater all the age group. It is not only for pre-primary or maybe not for grade 2 to 5. I have taken grade 3, 4, 5, 6 also, higher grades also. That's the reason more videos have been put. But I think you people have understood, as we are explaining, they have understood what is collaborative learning, how we can divide the students into group. But yes, after this, I'll not play the video, but I'll go through one important slide. Is this. So collaborative learning, if teacher wants to keep it in mind when she's making a lesson plan, she can go for PEC. Okay. So this is just a mnemonic which I have made. P, she should remember, plan for each stage of group work, because collaborative learning doesn't mean that, okay, I divide the group and I give them tasks. As I said earlier, I have to plan for each stage of group work. Second, establish ground rules for participation and contribution. This is how the child is going to learn respecting and following norms and the discipline of group learning. Third, carefully explain to your students how groups or peer discussion will operate and how students will be graded. Now, operate group, who is the leader? Who is other leader or maybe a sub leader? Who is going to speak? Who is going to act? Who is going to note down? So if in the group also, if a teacher gives a clear cut instructions to the students, it becomes very easy. Okay, we were group of 5. One was a leader, orator, noting down the points. One was acting or making a model. The third. So, it is very clear in the child's mind that these 5 members, what they did when the child is recollecting. That is the point which I mentioned, retention of knowledge. It is very very important, because these activities is going to help the child, because this is short term, will later on become long term memory for the students in terms of learning. Then the last one is help students develop skills they need to succeed, such as team building, exercise of introducing, and self reflection technique. Now this is the most important, I would say, self reflection technique. If you start gradually introducing in the lower grades, how do they reflect on their work, and not always good. We have a habit of always saying good or good work, that is motivation accepted, but in a very subtle way, if the child has not done appropriate or not done as per the expected level, am I guiding the child that, look, this is where you have done a mistake, this is how you can improve, and this is how you can deliver. So this journey of self reflection, let me go through it, let me understand this, my teacher has given me this feedback, and I need to rework on it, represent my knowledge. I think this kind of learning will give more confidence to all the students when it comes to collaborative, which indirectly enhances the personality of the child, that is independent learner. Next. Now this is last, which is the most important. I would say review is also there, but in terms of independent learner, 4 stage which I mentioned. So here, this activity a teacher can, as I said earlier also, it can be a small CFU activity, check for understanding activity, in the form of couple of questions given, couple of questions asked. It can be viva, it can be written, it can be worksheet, it can be puzzle, anything what a teacher feels is right as per the time of that particular period, as per the student requirement or the child centric questions which she wants to ask, she can do it. So this is called as independently, do it on, the child will do it on on his own by gathering, collating the knowledge in the other 3 steps, understanding, and then implementing that knowledge as alone, as one single person, his perspective and thoughts in that paper or in that activity. Next. Now review, as we all do it, we, each and every school, I would say, gets into assessment. Now the assessment structure has completely changed. It is not that typical pen and paper assessment. The assessment can be taken in any form, in terms of activities, in terms of quiz, in terms of MCQs, in terms of role plays. So just do an assessment, quick assessment, keep a record of it, and work on students who have not fared well in the assessment in terms of comprehension, because that's actual stage where you as a teacher are trying to understand and work on your child to be more responsible and to be more, what you say, learned child. But this is the phase where you are going to work your plan of action for this gap is very, very important. So what is my plan of action? Do I go for doubt clearing session? Do I see, this is kind of self reflection. After self reflection, this is assessment, I'm saying. So you plan out doubt clearing session, give 5 minutes extra to those students, or have a remedial classes for those students, connect with the parent, talk to the parent and say that, oh, these are the things which the child needs a little push. What this push, I will give you some tips, you do it from home. So I think it's a collaborative thing, again a review where you can involve people and give the result. So it's like result analysis and plan of action in terms of individual child. Then let us go to the next one. Yes, this is nothing but the last 2 slides which we are going to end. This is the
I think
summary.
with the summary we should put, we will be sharing in the chat box the same handout what ma'am is displaying, so that you can refer this for your future also. That's kind of your takeaway. So we are sharing a link in the chat box. You can please check this out along with that.
Yeah, so this summary, as when you can put it whenever you are doing a lesson plan, you can just keep this with you, and according to this you can make your lesson plan, because this becomes very easy for you to put those 4 stages in the lesson plan. So it's just whatever whatever was in the slide, just everything has been put in the tabular form. So I'll not repeat these things, Shilpi, because it is
Yes.
self-explanatory.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The next slide I would like to explain is, now I know there are few teachers from pre-primary who will say, ma'am, how is this model going to help me as such, as a pre-primary teacher? How can I do these things? There are few questions, maybe grade 1 and 2 teachers will also say that how are we going to do it? So let us understand how we can use this model as per our grades and section. So if you look at the red maroon color, the first thing is early childhood. Okay, when I say early childhood, it can be for till grade 2 or maybe grade K2, senior KG, where the teacher involvement is 80%. So that means teacher involvement, I do, we do, is more, and the child's involvement is very less, because that's a learning phase and that's an initial step of the child. So the child involvement will be little less, and it will be more of listening and observing and understanding, right? So giving it to do it to the child will come later on. When we go to the next one, that is junior primary, it can be 1 to 5, I would say 1 to 5. Now when I say, if you see 60% green color which is seen, so teacher involvement is 60% and student involvement is 40. So we are gradually tapering down the triangles. Do you just bring that triangles in front of you? So when I'm saying teacher involvement 80, here it is going to 60 now. Now when we go to the middle primary, which is grade 6 to 8, teacher involvement will be 40%, and student involvement in understanding, comprehending, collaborative learning, it becomes much more easier and simpler as students are bigger. So it is more over there, and teacher involvement is 40% over there. Then we go to grade 9 to 12. There the teacher involvement in terms of I do, we do with, it's like 20% only, and the remaining is more of a collaborative and independent learning. There the teacher actually becomes a true facilitator. A true facilitator, I am just introducing, giving few keywords and explanation on that, and then later on I want my student to do research based learning over there. That is research and development, inquiry based learning, when, where, how, why. Best what you say, age group where students actually get into independent learning, become more responsible, accountable for their learning. So I think this will help you all to understand the GRR frame, in what way and how to use it. Yeah. So the last one, I would just say, happy teaching. We all educationists are doing a great job in this pandemic. We all are warriors, and we are handling everything to the T in such pandemic. The excellent example of warriors, I think teachers should be always, known for that. And nobody appreciates, but never ever think of that. You need to appreciate yourself. Don't wait for people to appreciate. Be proud of yourself. Happy teaching, and happy Teachers Day in advance. And God bless for this noble profession. Thank you, Shilpi. I'm done from
Thank you
my side.
so much, ma'am. Very well said that you don't need people to come and tell you that you've done a good job. That voice from inside will automatically come and say, "Hello, today you were excellent."
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
I think that is definitely great. So we will be sending the test link and feedback link in the chat box. In the meanwhile, if you have any questions that you need to ask us, please put in the question and answer box so that we can take those questions up. There are a lot of lovely comments coming your way, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. Lovely
So,
comments from
so
lovely ladies, and even lovely professors,
the
sirs, if they
professors
are
out
there.
there.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so before some questions start coming in, and the teachers in the meanwhile are doing their tests, I would like to ask you a few questions, ma'am. Now there were questions that came to me that what if any school is giving, like you have corporate schools, chains of schools who give predefined lesson plans, right?
Hmm.
So in that circumstance, when you have everything planned,
Hmm. Hmm.
okay, that after this you're going to do this, after this you're going to do this, in such scenario, how do you think, does the teacher have the scope to introduce the GRR model in her classroom, the well said GRR model that we have discussed, gradual release of
Yeah,
responsibility?
responsibility. Yeah.
I think we can
Yes.
stop share, ma'am.
I'll stop sharing.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. So,
yeah.
a very good question, Shilpi. First of all, I would say when there is like corporate schools or schools who come up with predefined lesson plan, one, as a teacher, we should take it and follow to the T. But you can tweak it by adding few things in the lesson plan, because nobody is going to stop a teacher to follow that structure and over and above things from her side. Because even I'm working as a principal in a corporate schools. We get a predefined structure lesson plans for our teacher. But let me tell you, predefined lesson plan, as a teacher who is a fresher or as a teacher who is an experience, who's getting more knowledge from that predefined lesson plan, one. Second, I am adding value over there by doing a little more things, which gives a better picture to my organization, saying, look, this teacher is trying over and above things which we never thought of. Because the person who's doing predefined is also an experienced teacher, maybe
Makes
her
sense.
perspective is not completely taken into the lesson plan. But when a second person or a third person adds value, it gives you an overall over and above, what do you say, a structure which is 360-degree. Maybe it
Very
is
true, very true.
180, but a teacher who adds on will give you a 360-degree. So I always feel that predefined structures are very important. But a teacher adds value when she makes her predefined structure her own structure, her own touch, her own technique, which says, wow, I did not know that this can also be a part of it. So who got this? So if you ask me, I'm saying GRR framework was there, but I reframed the GRR work. So that means predefined structure was there. I reframed it by putting those two things. So when I say, I feel very confident, I feel very happy that I have added something. So that is going to be known, that is going to be remembered. So I think all the teachers need to think in that angle. I think that's what
So,
is.
so to conclude that point, that means the plans in the corporate schools, because there are a lot of people out here who are watching the webinar. We are on YouTube live right now, so there will be a lot of people who will be having this question. So that was from that perspective, that if a lesson plan has come to you, it's okay. You are the one to add the cherry on the cake. If
Yes.
you cannot do that, you cannot lace it well, you have lost it.
I think, see, that's what I'm saying. Today's generation or today's teachers, if I compare, they add a value because they are not the one who was just going to take it and implement.
Yes, you will have to use
Because
your
the
brain and somewhere, yeah.
young generation is much smarter than us, Shilpi, I'll tell you. The teachers
Yes,
who are here, because they add that cherry and they have an habit of adding that cherry because they want that appreciation. This generation wants appreciation and recognition, so they strive hard for that. And that's the best part about this generation teachers.
very true, very true.
Yeah.
So probably the even if you get a structure, that structure you will have to definitely tweak it in case if you have some children who don't understand. You cannot follow that structure to the T. So
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
all, it is the ball is in your court. How where you take it.
And Shilpi, one thing very important, a
Yeah.
teacher shouldn't forget that when she's going in a class, she needs to teach child centric. She cannot be a
Yes.
class centric. She cannot be like, okay, I cannot be a generic, I cannot use general things. I need to understand my students in groups. Generally the words like high achievers, middle achievers, what do you say, middle achievers, low achievers, and high achievers, we say. So if we, in each class you will find these kind of students. So am I making my lesson plan as per that requirement? That's very
Yeah.
important.
Very true. Very true, ma'am. Um, till now, any more questions you have, audience, you may please ask us. We are here to help you out with all your burning questions. Okay, what is the scope of flexibility in a very pre-planned lecture plan?
I think I have already said
Yeah,
that
we just,
flexibility.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we have just spoken about this, the flexibility.
Lot of flexibility can be done
Yeah,
provided you follow the structure. And I said, as you said, icing on the cake, it's only you add a bit of it,
yeah.
looking at your class, what kind of students or what kind of learners do you have in your class.
So also, ma'am, I'm sure the corporate schools, the lesson plans that they provide, that is just a guideline or a structure where the teacher can, if they don't get any idea, they can just follow it. But there's no expectation that you follow it 100%. It is just
See,
a direction that is being given to you.
why is that structure there in corporate schools? Why that predefined? It is a simple SOP, that is a standard operating procedures where teachers need to be on the same pace in terms of delivery. One.
Yes.
Second, when they are giving predefined, let me tell you, one teacher doing a lesson plan may spend 2 hours or 3 hours, but a predefined in a corporate school will spend 1 day for one period.
Yeah.
Let me tell
True.
you that also, because people are working there to give all possible things and all latest and newest thing in that particular predefined lesson plan. So
Very
just
true.
compare the hours, 2 3 people working on one lesson and one person working on one lesson.
So that's a benefit that they get. Yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. I think we don't have any more questions that are coming our way. Um,
Okay.
so I hope all the attendees have done their test, and we would like to honor Madhuri ma'am for the valuable time, ma'am, you have given us, and the wonderful insight. And there were a lot of
Thank you.
questions, and there were a lot of discussion also that happened. So it really gives me, an honor that I am thanking you from the bottom of my heart for all your
Thank you.
valuable insights, ma'am. Thank
Thank
you
you, and it
so
was
much.
wonderful session, and I really liked it interacting. I mean, presenting my PPT to everyone. I hope they take away something from this session and remember those 6 steps. That's it. Then I'm a good teacher.
Yeah, surely they will. They will. We have a
Yeah.
small gesture for you, ma'am. As always, it's customary for us.
Oh, thank you, Shilpi. Thank you very much for that
Yeah, this is
certificate.
a small appreciation. This will mail you also across. But yes,
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. So.